I would not anticipate the speech being a defense of legislation and executive orders. I don't think many previous presidents have gotten through and used that as a legislative walkthrough. But you will hear about his commitment to immigration and his desire for border security and what it means, not just about keeping the nation safe, but what impact it's having on the economy.
Well, that was earlier today, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer talking about tomorrow's presidential address to Congress. President Trump promised on the campaign trail that he would build a wall and build it fast, and well, now it looks like he's keeping his word. The Customs and Border Protection Agency will request bids from a construction company as early as next week. Joining me now to discuss, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Ken, March 6th they're going to take bids. March 10th, concept papers designed. March 20th, the candidates will be named. March 24th, finalists can submit their costs. And by mid-April, contracts awarded. The wall is going to be built. Can you believe it?
You know what? We've been waiting for this for a long time. So in Texas, we're pretty excited about the opportunity to have a president that is doing something about this immigration issue that we've been dealing with for years.
What about some of the pushback in your own state of Texas? I mean, is that inconsequential, or should we not worry about it anymore because this wall is going to be a reality?
You know what? It's always good to listen to people and what their opinions are. We've got people in Texas that have been dealing with border issues for a long time. So, you know, there's a mix here, I think, that's going to happen. You're going to see a wall. Part of the wall is going to be built. I think you're going to see more border agents. I think you're going to see more technology employed. All of that is good, and it's something that the state of Texas has been funding for a long time, and it's about time the federal government stepped up and helped us with.
Well, one thing that I know you don't think is good are these sanctuary cities. Your governor and you, of course, your office, you've been fighting really tooth and nail within your state. What's the status? Are there any more sanctuary cities in Texas? And what about some of these sheriffs who have vowed to buck the law?
Yeah, I think there's less and less cities admitting that they're sanctuary cities, but maybe acting as sanctuary cities. We still have the sheriff of Austin who said she won't turn over to ICE some of the people that are being let out of prison. So we definitely have issues to deal with. I think you'll see our legislature pass legislation that defunds cities and counties that participate in being sanctuary cities or acting like sanctuary cities, whatever the case may be.
Austin is a very rich city, though. I mean, let's face it, they've got a lot of cash here. I'm not sure how that would impact them. If that wasn't enough to persuade them to change their minds, would you actually consider jailing the sheriff of Austin?
Well, so here's the deal. I think the legislature is considering legislation right now that would potentially make it a crime if office holders failed to execute their duties as office holders, not following the Constitution, not following federal law. So I think that is a possibility that the legislature is considering.
You know, ironically, that makes sense. It's like,
yeah.
You know, you take an oath. At the very least, you should follow through on it or quit that job. I want to ask you, because pretty soon we're going to get a follow-up from the White House on the travel moratorium. I know Texas got involved with the amicus brief. Of course, you had these big companies, particularly in Washington State, these big tech companies that have said it would hurt them. You've got universities that said it would hurt them. How important is it that Texas and other states get involved with the federal government to prove that there is a threat to the average American from those 7 countries that were named?
Listen, we filed a lawsuit, you know, in the last year or so related to this very issue, and we were, you know, basically given the boot. And so it's actually good for us that the president has stepped up and is protecting our security by limiting who can come into our country. And if they're coming from terrorist countries and we don't know anything about them, which is the case with many of these countries, I mean, we're concerned about it. Our governor's concerned about it. Our legislature's concerned about it. And I'm concerned about it. And I'm actually thankful the president is stepping forward to do something.
Real quick, too, I want to ask you, because right before we went in the show, word out justice is pulling out of the Texas voter ID case. Must be music to your ears.
It is. You know what? It's great for a Justice Department to let the legislature deal with our own problems, and that's what's going on here. Our legislature is working on that very issue, and they're deferring to the legislative body, which is the elected officials of our state, and that's who ought to be making these decisions. So we're pleased with that decision by the Justice Department, and we're looking forward to working with them as we go forward.
All right, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, thank you very much.
Hey, have a great day. Thank you.
You too.